Hey everyone! I'm so excited. I have a very cool idea. I have this branch that can form a circle. I found it when it was summer and now it's completely dried and I wanted to make a wreath using holly branches that I cut this morning. I was in the woods and I have few of them. Of course, I asked every tree if I can take a small branch for myself. It was not from one tree, it was from different locations. And I kissed every tree. I thank every tree and I came home to make a wreath. And now I have a very cool idea. I was looking for what is the symbol of holy tree in Celtic tradition because I feel more closer to Celtic tradition than to any other. Norse tradition too, but it's about druids, it's about connection to the trees, and I feel really inspired to learn about trees. While I'll be making the wreath, I will mention what is the symbol. But now, what was my idea? Not to only make a wreath, but when I was reading about Holy King, I was so inspired to make Green Man, Green God. And because I have some faces that represent Green God, I always wanted to, because I love to make things out of clay, like this one, but I always waited for the right moment to make a face. I always wanted to make a face of the Green God. I easily can buy in a charity shop, in a vintage shop, a face, but because I love to make things out of clay, I wanted to make it. And now, I think it's a perfect time. I think it's a perfect moment. This is the right moment to do it. So, I will make a wreath and I will make Holy King. It will take a long time until it dry and all this stuff. But I'm so excited. Just stay with me. Let's be in this journey together. I'm so excited! So, I finished. Look at this. I love it. It's so beautiful. To be honest, I was not expecting to do it so well. What? Look at this. I love it so much. I used 6 branches. I didn't count how many I took from the 4s, but it was 6. And 6 is love. And now my next step is to make Holy King's face that I will... Yeah, it will be in the center. Wish me luck, and we can wait for the result. Let's start to make the face. Just want to show you the real struggle. Look, my hands are all red and it's painful, but it's okay because I enjoyed every second I did it. The holy tree is one of the most beloved, respected trees in Celtic mythology, and is the evergreen twin of the oak. It is said that whilst the oak was the controller of the light half of the year, the holy tree controlled the dark winter months. Traditionally, the holy tree is highly sacred in Celtic mythology and symbolizes peace and goodwill. Due to its resistance to lightning, it's associated with the Celtic and Norse gods of thunder, Taranis and Thor, and so was planted near dwellings to protect people from lightning strikes. Druids believed the holy tree to possess protective qualities, such as guarding against evil spirits and bad luck. Legend has it that bringing the leaves inside during the winter months will provide shelter from the cold for fairies, who in return will be kind to those who lived in the dwelling. For centuries, this magical tree has been represented by a holy wreath, which was worn as a crown by Celtic chieftains for good luck. Traditionally, it was used to protect newborn babies from harm by bathing them in the water from the leaves. The holy tree's abundance of spiked leaves are a great spot to garden birds to safely make their nests, providing a natural protection from predators. These trees are also particularly wonderful in spring, as the delicate scented flowers are loved by bees and butterflies. Few know that a holy tree is either male or female. This becomes apparent as the tree matures. The male holy tree has pale yellow flowers and the females are white. Holy leaves and berries reflect the light and add color to the dark days of Yule. In Celtic mythology, the Holy King ruled over the half of the year, from the summer to the winter solstice. At this time, the Oak King defeated the Holy King to rule for the time until the summer solstice again. The Holy King was depicted as a powerful giant of a man, covered in holy leaves and branches. Holy is the ruler of the White Realm, king of the dark half of the year, the lunar months when the night pervades, and the annual era in which winter resides. The Battle of the Kings. Just like in the north with his brother King Holy, it became winter in the southern part of the country, where the Oak King lived. It was cold, dark, and the people in the south were no longer cheerful and happy, and they didn't know at all how to deal with this situation of cold, little food and darkness. His people of the south had no idea how to survive a cold winter. That is why King Oak decided it was time to visit his brother Holy and make sure the weather would become warm again, so there will be enough to eat and the party could start again. After a full moon's journey, he arrived at his brother's place on December 21st, the day of midwinter. How beautiful it was, bright white, glittering ice crystals, and the whole palace was decorated with fragrant green fir branches and red holly berries. There his brother King Holly sat on his throne. Oak walked up to Holly and said, "My dear brother, my people are not happy, and we want the light and the sun back in our land. Help us bring back the sun. Your people must first learn to be frugal with what they have. They must learn that there is also a time for moderation and reflection, in which they can make new plans for the year to come," said the Holy King. But the Old King knew there was no time for that now. "If I have to fight for the return of the light, I will do it." He got up and walked towards the throne. The Holy King immediately jumped up and attacked his brother. The Old King was weaker than his brother, but persisted, thinking of the people who needed him. The sun burned in his mind that gave him strength. In one last blow he defeated the Holy King, who was now wounded on the ground. The Old King ordered his brother to give him back the sun, and he said, "My dear brother, if you want the dark days back, come on June 21st to my kingdom in the south of the country. Then you can measure your strength with me again. Then will I give you the knowledge of how to survive in the time of light and warmth, because even though I have defeated you now, you are my brother and I love you." The Holy King answered, "I'll be there on June 21st. Look for me from the highest mountain, and if I win the fight that day, I will give you all the wisdom for your people, how to survive the dark days of the year and unwind during them, because I love you too. Take the crown and know, my brother, even if you are now king, my cold has not yet left immediately, and snow will cover the land. I know from now on your power of light reigns, and I will keep my cold and darkness until my time is there again on midsummer." From that day on, the brothers Oak and Holly visited each other on the day of the solstices and claimed their share of the year. For example, in the light months, there was feast, abundance, healing, and fertility for the entire country from the north to south. And in the dark months, there was time for rest, reflection, and making new plans for the new year. Both nations now had the knowledge of light and darkness and lived happily ever after. In contrast to this, other traditions maintained that kings fight and gain the throne on the equinoxes. When we begin to see buds appearing, crops germinating, and animals breeding in springtime, it's a sign the old king has won the throne. He will steadily rise to full power by the summer solstice, before weakening until his defeat by the Holy King in autumn. This is when we begin to see the leaves turning browner, the nights getting longer, and the weather becoming colder. He will be at his full power in the dead of winter.